Welcome back to Ball. That's all. Today we're going to be talking about the Philadelphia 76ers, the 2025 to 2026 NBA season, a new series on the channel I'm going to be starting it, going through every single NBA teams alphabetically. That's why I'm starting off with the Sixers, and I do think the Sixers are a quite interesting team to talk about. But the reason why I want to do this is because I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be really fun. I just like to reminisce and kind of think about the future. And I want to start off with this. The Sixers, 17 in the playoffs. They beat the Celtics. So yeah, I mean, not really a bad end to your season. They did a lot better than what they kind of expected to do. Like honestly, going into the NBA season, we all looked at the Sixers and thought they were going to be contenders. I was a person who's like, okay, this is like a 3 seed in the East. Like they could do some damage. They could really make a playoff run. And I feel like that's something that we say about the Sixers every fucking year at this point. Is that just me? Like they've had Jimmy Butler on their team. They've had Tobias Harris, Ben Simmons, Markel Fultz. They've had so much talent on this team, and yet it has not mattered whatsoever for them. Trust the process, and Markel Fultz was an all-time bust. Like, let's be for real. Markel Fultz, I know much how respect for him. Again, I'm getting off topic. This is about their 25 to 2026 season. But the Sixers always had the pieces to be one of the best fucking teams in the country, and yet they always blow it. That's what I'm getting at. And again, they're only 8 games above 500. And you look at that and like, well, you barely made the playoffs. You had to get the play in, they won their first game in the play and they were like a 7 seed, and you won your first round. But did you really win the first round? Did you really win anything? Because the next round you get swept by the Knicks. But anyway, let's get into the meat and potatoes of the roster, because I do believe they have one of the most deep rosters in the entire league. The problem with the Sixers is nobody can stay healthy for them. And that's what happened this whole entire season. Paul George, one thing, why are you paying him $51 million? He's old. He's not as good as he used to be. He's not worth $51 million. He can probably put up 30 points a game randomly. I mean, that's what we saw. Then he got drug tested, and then boom, he can't play. He's just not there. He's healthy. He's ready to play, but he's at home. He's at home. He can't play. Joel Embiid can't stay healthy. He's had one healthy season, won the MVP. That's great. Joel Embiid was insane. Did he deserve to win the MVP that season? Not necessarily, in my opinion. I think Jokic should have won it, but I digress. He won the MVP that season. He was healthy, and guess what? This season he wasn't healthy. And I'm pretty sure he only played 38 games. That is less than half the games. You can't have your best player, your superstar, only playing less than half your games, because you're not going to win all the games with him there. You're just not. It's just not going to happen. And you're definitely not going to win all the games when he's gone. And this is proof in the pudding with the Sixers team. Because when they did not have Joel Embiid on the floor, no matter how deep you say this team is, when they didn't have Joel Embiid on the floor, Tyrese Maxey had to do fucking everything on offense. Just about damn near everything. And we look back on last year that when they acquired Quentin Grimes, and Quentin Grimes was going on an insane offensive run. Like, he was putting up absurd numbers. Absurd. In literally every category. Literally points, rebounds, and assists. He was getting close to triple doubles. He had like a 10-game span where he was literally one of the best players in the country. He was one of the best players in the NBA at that time. And you're like, wow, that was a steal of a trade. And this season, he kind of, I'm pretty sure he averaged like around 14 points. Let me just check here real quick. Sorry. Yeah, he averaged 13.4 points a game, which isn't bad, especially for a bench player. He started some games, but you kind of expect more, especially without Joel Embiid on the court, from a lot of these other role players. But from last season, their numbers just didn't really change whatsoever. And again, Joel Embiid was injured last season. The Sixers were even worse last season. And again, they ended up with Vijay Edgecombe, who I will get into the second. But you can't have Joel Embiid always injured and saying, trust the process, trust the process, trust the process. Because it's taking a toll on all these other players to do so much more when he's not on the court. It's not like Joel Embiid is the fucking main vocal point of the Sixers when he's on the court. No, you have Tyrese Maxey, Paul George, just like I said. You have these other guys who are just talented players. And they're a deep team. I mean, they have Trent Watford. Dominic Barlow, I was thinking of another guy who was one of the only guys who could stay healthy. Even Kelly Oubre missed like 30 games this season. Like, they're having so many problems with keeping people healthy. It's a problem. And that's really the big reason why the Sixers just kind of fucking suck this year. Now, I want to get into a player that I think is probably one of the most interesting rookies to talk about. There's Cooper, there's Khan, but VJ Edgecombe was definitely one of the most fun and crazy rookies to watch this year and just kind of see him, boom, explode. He started off the season, we all know this, just going fucking ballistic. 30-point game here, 30-point game there. Who gives a hell? Here's another 30-point game. He was dropping 30-point games like it was nothing. He had a 30-point double-double in the playoffs against the Celtics. Game 2. He was the reason they won that game. It's kind of nuts to think about, but it's true. He was one of the biggest reasons they won that first playoff series. And, VJ Hitchcomb was definitely off. He had a lot of off nights. Let's be honest, too. He was far from perfect. And we all saw that, like, the more the season went on, he was just an inconsistent player, which is how rookies are. You expect that. But you don't really see rookies like VJ Edgecombe and just the explosiveness, the talent that you see, the raw potential that I see in VJ Edgecombe, I really don't see in many other rookies. I would say Dylan Harper is a close second. And obviously Cooper Flagg, but Cooper Flagg is just one of those just talented players, But like pure athleticism, VJ Edgecombe is definitely probably the top player in the league right now, just out of pure athleticism. You have the Thompson twins, but I legitimately think VJ Edgecombe is just one of the most gifted athletes in the sport at the moment. Maybe that's a hot take, but there's just a lot of questions with VJ Edgecombe right now that I think are just going to be wiped off the board next season. I think he's going to be averaging like 20 next season. I think he's going to have a great growth. He seems to love the game of basketball, and I believe he's just going to keep getting better and better and better. Now let's talk about the Sixers just a little bit more. Again, VJ Edgecombe, I really just enjoyed watching him this season. I know a lot of people expect him to be this fucking all-star ballot player after that first week, and I think a lot of people kind of look at his season as a disappointment just after that like insane first week he had, but I think he just had a great rookie season. I mean, let me look at the numbers here real quick just to double check. But I mean, he averaged 16 points, 5.6 rebounds, and 4.2 assists on 1.4 steals. Like, he is just a good all-around player and was literally probably their second best player for half the season with Joel Embiid out all the time. And I think it's fucking crazy. I think it's crazy how Tyrese Maxey only missed 12 games. I'm not saying like only missed 12 games. Like, oh, he only missed 12 games. 12 games is a lot of games. Like, I'm going to be quite honest. But I would say like most NBA players will probably miss like 7 games throughout the season just for rest. And, for him to only miss 12 games, I think that's just insane for how much Tyrese Maxey was moving, for how much he was doing. I mean, he was damn near almost averaging 30. Let me look at the numbers here real quick, as I say. And 28.3 points per game. Like, that's nuts. He's one of the best scorers in the NBA. He is probably top 5 best scorers in the NBA right now. And I believe Tyrese Maxey, if he could get, like, his passing game down, the Sixers would be just one of the most unstoppable teams in the league. And I know you guys are like, VJ, or not VJ. Sorry, my bad. Tyrese Maxey, he's an insane passer. He can fucking find somebody's dick in a lesbian bar. Like, it doesn't matter. That's not the case. That is not true. Tyrese Maxey is a lot of a passer like Michael Jordan was back in the day. And you're probably like, what do you mean by that? Tyrese Maxey draws the defense into him because he's such a damn good scorer, and then he sees the open guy. Then he's like, oh, there's the open guy, boom. But he's not like LaMelo Ball, just like kind of finding the person in the passing lane, or like a Magic Johnson where they're just finding somebody and cutting off like these like just insane angles that you just don't see. He's not finding those. He's just finding the open guy because he's just such a good offensive player. That's more so what Tyrese is, or Tyrese Maxey is. But if he could just develop his passing game just a little bit more. Again, he does 6.6 assists per game. But if you can develop his passing game just a little bit and probably get up to like 8 assists per game. Just develop the passing game just a little bit more. Because again, he's a good passer, but if he could just develop it a little bit more and become like a true good passer, he'd be. I believe the Sixers would just be one of the most unstoppable teams in the league. Now let's recap more on their season, more than like just me kind of talking about the players and just glazing over. The season was disappointing. Like I kind of hinted at that throughout the video. The season was just disappointing for them. I mean, I thought they were going to be a 3 seed coming out. Like legitimately, I thought they're going to be like 1 through 3 seed, especially when they got VJ and we're like, oh, Embiid's back. I don't know what else to say. Paul George on that max deal is just a bad signing. I don't even know how they had that much money left to sign Paul George. I don't know how that acquired. I don't really remember off the top of my head. But Paul George is just not worth that. He's going to get worse next season. It's just kind of inevitable, I feel like. And again, they have a deep team. They have a lot of players. I don't know who's all going to free agency. I don't know what this team holds for next season. They had the number 22 overall pick. They're going to probably, the best case scenario for that pick, I mean, obviously a Hall of Famer, but truly it's just going to be a pretty dang good role player. That's best case scenario for that pick. And that's not, he's not going to develop for another couple years. So with that pick kind of coming in, it's not like you're really expecting that rookie to really change your lineup or just kind of go in to fill in for like another player that you've already had, like Kelly Oubre for like being 30 years old. You're not expecting a rookie just to come in there and take his spot perfectly. So I do believe they probably will have a couple guys leaving. And another guy I also hinted at was Quentin Grimes. I felt like he kind of had a disappointing season, in my opinion. I wrote down his stats. I mean, he was averaging 13.4 points per game, which kind of felt higher than what I thought. But it felt like when he was on the court, they weren't winning basketball. Whenever I watch the Sixers and Quentin Grimes was on the court, and I'm a big Quentin Grimes fan, especially from last season after the Mavericks traded him and he just went crazy with the Sixers. After that, I really became a huge Quentin Grimes fan. And this season, whenever I watched him, I was just like, this guy should not be on the court for the Sixers right now. He is not producing for him. But his stats look better than kind of what I remember or what I thought they would be. So maybe I'm just wrong about that. But again, the Sixers are an interesting team. I'm excited to see what happens for them next season. Again, they're always a team that seems like, hey, they're about to put fucking dick to ass, dude. They're about to fucking put belt to ass and just go at it and start winning some basketball games. They're just about to go through everybody and they're about to be the best team in the league, and it just never happens. It never happens. Something always just implodes on them. Every season, they always seem to be in this prime position to win a NBA championship, and yet they never do. And yet every year it seems like they're just become more dysfunctional, more just weird. But they have depth. They have superstars. And they have youth. They have veteran players who played in the playoffs. Joel Embiid went to the conference finals, lost in a game 7 by one single shot. They have the experience. They have everything. They have youth. They have talent. They have these, like what I just fucking said. This team, if they don't make a playoff run next season, they gotta change some things up, though. Like, you can't keep holding on to Joel Embiid and hoping he doesn't get injured, and hoping he doesn't do this, and hoping this doesn't happen, and hoping he starts loving the game of basketball again. Because honestly, the Sixers right now are like shitting in one hand with all the shit Joel Embiid gives them, and it's just weighing him down. Like, this is the fucking hand with shit. And the Sixers somehow, you can't even see how much hope they have in Joel Embiid. It's fucking up here, dude. It is up here. And the shit just pulls it all the way down. And down, and down, because there's so much shit with Joel Embiid that just becomes annoying. Again, I probably need to stop about this video, but this season was disappointing for the Sixers, and I don't think anybody else should be saying anything else about it. This season was disappointing for the Sixers. I mean, you won the first round of the playoffs, but in my opinion, that does nothing, in my opinion. You beat the Celtics, that does nothing. The Celtics, honestly, don't really care, in my opinion. You're like, okay, well, Jason Tatum was out, Jason Tatum was injured almost the whole season, and Jaylen Brown got a shit ton better. We really saw what Jaylen Brown could do, and we're kind of evolved Jaylen Brown into being like this more like kind of focused guy, where him and Tatum can kind of share the ball. And we just really learned. I feel like the Celtics learned a lot about their team more so through that series and just through the season, and they really weren't expecting to go far. They're like, yeah, honestly, whatever. And that's something I'll talk about more in the Celtics video. But yeah, I think it was just a disappointing season for the Sixers, especially after getting VJ with the third overall pick and just not really honestly improving from last season. Because you got to remember, Joel Embiid was almost injured all last season, and Tyrese was injured a lot. So that's really about it. Yeah, I kind of, again, very disappointed with the Sixers this season. Fine record, fine thing. Like 45, again, I'll say it one more time, 45 and 37, not a bad record whatsoever. But this team, with the talent, with everything I've said this whole video, should have been better. And that's really all I can say about it. So yeah, that's really about it. And as always, have a great day.